Today I'm going to take a closer look at the Oak Burrow and some mechanics about it. So first I want to explain my setup. This knight has been edited so it does 100 damage, and it also has 0 armor. The burrow also has 0 armor, but is otherwise unchanged. Normal damage does 100% damage against heavy armor, so when this knight attacks this burrow, you see that exactly 100 hit points have been removed. I will also set the burrow back to full hit points after each test. So the first thing I'm gonna change is to show how fortified defenses affect the damage. Since normal damage goes down to 70% against fortified armor, we obviously see only 70 damage done by the knight. Now I reset the burrow back to heavy armor and give it the usual 5 points of armor, which would mean a reduction by 23%. And now you see the knight doing, well, not 77 but 76 damage. The reason for the difference is that the 23% value is not exact, but it's actually a tiny bit more, and the game does calculate with fractions, even though you as a player can only see full hit points. The second, third and fourth hit of the knight do 77 damage, and the fifth does 76 again. So, now the first big question for tonight's pop quiz. How much damage will the knight do against a burrow with 5 points of armor and fortified armor? If the damage was set to 7% minus 23%, meaning down to 47%, the damage should be 47. If these two damage reductions, however, were to be multiplied, meaning you multiply the 100 damage by 0.7 and then again by 0.77, we would expect a damage output of 53.9, so it should be either 53 or 54. And as you can see, the first strike does 53 and the second one does 54, so we know it's a multiplication. But now let's go into Spiked Barricades. In order to make the effect most pronounced, I will do all tests with level 2 Spiked Barricades. The new Spiked Barricades do 5 damage plus 50% of the attacker's damage. So our expectation would be that our knight takes 55 damage, and that is exactly what we get. But now, when we give this burrow the usual 5 points of armor, the knight will do less damage again. But will he also take less damage because of this? And the answer is no. He still takes the same 55 damage as before. So, how is it with fortified defenses? Does this perhaps reduce the damage that the knight takes from Spiked Barricades? And again, the answer is no. Even the change of the armor type does not affect the damage received from Spiked Barricades. Which of course begs the question, what does? So I set the armor value of the knight back up to 5. But even with 5 points of armor, we get the same result. But there is an ability that reduces damage. So let's give our knight hardened skin and see what happens. Well, nothing. Hardened skin does not protect against Spiked Barricades. So what about armor type? Our knight now has divine armor, which only takes full damage from chaos damage. So if the damage caused by Spiked Barricades is of any kind of damage other than chaos damage, we should see some change in the damage on the knight. As you can see, our knight only took 2 points of damage this time, which means that the armor type actually does have an effect, and that the damage done by Spiked Barricades are of some kind of damage type. But which one? So I edited the damage taken by the armor type unarmored, so that normal damage does 100%, piercing damage does 200%, siege damage does 300%, magic damage 400%, hero damage 500%, and spell damage does 600%. We already know it's not chaos damage. And here you have it. Our knight just took 330 damage, which is 6 times as much as before, which means Spiked Barricades actually do spell damage. Which brings me to one last test. What if that knight was spell immune? And yes, spell immunity does protect from Spiked Barricades.